Hey everyone, this is Glen from Glen, Larson Law. Over the next several videos, we're going to be establishing a series of topics related to the 5 most common situations where insurance companies try their best to defeat the liability components in different types of motor vehicle crashes. We encourage you to look at the different series, and thank you for watching. One of the most important factors is always determining whether the defendant or the adverse party, or adverse parties, plural, are liable for your auto crash injuries. Determining whether the defendant is liable for your auto accident injuries is the first and most important factor to evaluate when assessing your personal injury claim. One of the first things to look at is, 1, how badly damaged were the vehicles involved? In other words, was it a total loss? Were the airbags deployed? Or what's the rest of the story in terms of the property damage to the vehicles? Because the insurance companies will always take a look at this. From there, the question becomes, did any of the drivers involved give statements to the police? In other words, did the police get all the right information? Finally, from there, were there any witnesses to the crash? Also, was there any alcohol used by any of the drivers or anyone involved? What were the driving conditions? That's another factor. Another factor is lighting. Did the folks involved in the wreck have the correct headlights on? I know it sounds so basic, but how many times have we seen that the lights of the vehicle simply weren't on? And had they been on, we wouldn't be talking to a particular client. Also, turn signals, braking, maintenance, many other factors involving the parts of the vehicle that are supposed to perform in a safe manner, but often do not. And also, one of the most important factors is to look at whether or not the defendant can point the finger at some act of God defense, such as a dog or an animal or some other weather, and just try to make it look like an accident. In fact, in my firm, we're not allowed to say the word accident very often because 9 times out of 10, it wasn't an accident, it was someone else's fault. Thanks for watching all those aspects that you just saw on how the insurance companies can try to defeat your liability claim. Please feel free to reach out to us, see if we can help you in any situation. And please continue to follow the other topics. And of course, we appreciate you watching all of them or any one in particular. Thank you very much for your time.